Hello everybody. This is probably gonna be a really short video. It is the 11th of June 2017. It's my 30th day, my second year, etc. And a couple of things going on today. Just more marking time than anything else. Our cat had some issues and was hurt, and I had to subdue the cat to make sure it was okay, and it didn't really like it. So, like I said, a little bit of damage there. Won't be a hand model anytime soon, unless it's for like band-aids or something. But two things going on today. I really wanted to crunch the numbers, and so I got for the future. And you probably feel like, oh gosh, she's stuck on GCS. Well, I am stuck on GCS. So I got out my calendar of 2018. It says 2017 on the back side that's flipped over. This is 2018. It's backwards in the camera. But anyway, I did my paychecks just to make sure my paychecks were right, the dates, because that's money that's cash going into my bank account, as well as money that goes into my HSA account. And so I wanted to just get a timeline to make sure that all my dates were correct. And then on my piece of paper here, which again I don't expect you to really see, I did just kind of writing down what for a month, my estrogen and my progesterone, and then trying to figure out if I did 3 months, basically every quarter between now and the end of 2018, make sure that my medication costs are there, as well as making sure that in my budget I have the cost of going and seeing my endocrinologist, the cost of the blood panel labs and everything. Really trying to get a better idea, make sure that I had all my dates right, because I want to have, and then I did some math as to what it would be if I was to, in January 2018, which you probably would, to the common person, you'd be like, what the hell, Robin? It's June, right? What are you talking about, January? 6 months from now. Or 6 months from now would be December. So again, why thinking ahead? And really, it's just to keep my mind a little bit sane, and you probably could argue that too, but when you're talking surgery, GCS especially, and you have to deal with, it takes 3 months to get on a waiting list to get a consultation for surgery, and if you're approved, then you're looking at 3 to 6 months to, you really have to think that much ahead. Even let's say that I lost the weight and I had the money and I was ready to go. I could call up my doctor tomorrow and have to wait 3 months to see her, which means I'm not going to see her till 7, 8, 9, September of 2017. And then if I had to wait 6 months to get on her calendar, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, I'd be in March of 2018 before I could even have surgery if everything I had was lined up and ready to go. So am I really that crazy? No, at least not here on this issue. But the other thing I wanted to do is look at the cost of the surgery, and I don't think I can really, I'm trying to verbalize it. Let's assume for the moment that with my benefits restarting in January, it's a $25,000 surgery. Let's assume that there's not really a negotiated rate because I have a high deductible healthcare plan. Then I'm stuck with, you look at $25,000. Well, I'm only stuck with $3,800 till I hit my first tier. And so take 25 minus 38, or take 2,500 minus 3,800. That doesn't sound right. Take 25,000 minus 3,800, and that leaves 21,000, right? Plus, well, at that point, I'm only responsible for 10% because of the way co-insurance goes and my co-payment and everything. So I'm only responsible for 10%. So I'm only responsible for 10% of $21,000. Well, that's $2,100. So take your 38 to meet your first deductible, your tier, and then your 10% co-insurance, put them together, and you have a price tag of about $5,500, okay, for surgery. So you have to kind of think ahead a little bit and say, okay, if I can estimate between now and then what my costs are going to be, and I max out my pre-tax HSA deductions, then where does that put me exactly in January? And I wanted to know where my HSA was each month: January, February, March, April, May, June. And then I also wanted to compare that with my estimated savings in my, how much money's in my bank account, not so much the whatever. And I wanted to look at a chart of, what is my estimated by time, month, January, this amount of money should be in my HSA, this amount of money should be in my savings account. What is the total of that, and how does it compare to that 5,100? And then do the same for each month: February, March, April. And at this point in time, if I could jump forward 7 months, in January, I would have deficient by about $2,000. In February, I'm deficient about $1,000. In March, it's just about there. I would actually have enough in my HSA and in my personal account. I could pay my surgery bill and be done with it. And then in April, obviously, it leans more on the HSA as opposed to my personal. So the bottom line is peace of mind, assuming that I lose the weight, and I'm hoping to, and I will continue to try to, then it's really not that unimaginable to, what was the argument I just said? It was March, right? If I had to wait 3 months to see her, to see the surgery for a consult, and then I had to wait 6 months to get into the surgery. Even if I tomorrow I put in my application and it was approved, then in March was the date, right? So March I have the money to have the surgery. So not as crazy as you might think. So then, that said, I can, every time I save a little money on my power bill, or my groceries are a little bit less, I can take that and set that aside into kind of an emergency fund. And again, if I need it, let's say, remember now March I said I was just about even. It further makes it even. It's peace of mind. In the same way with my health savings account, provided I exercise and stay on top of things, my company will give you a wellness bonus or an incentive. And so let's say that my company gives me an extra $300 for the start of the year, or I know that they match, if I meet the health goals, they match 5-1. And I'm sorry if I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, but again, they're going to give me $1,000 on my HSA for being healthy, which I'm going to have to do anyway because I have to walk all these steps, right? And so again, where in March, remember I said March I'd be just about there. In February, I'd be like $1,000 in the hole. Well, if my company is going to give me $1,000 wellness credit, then I actually can do it in February. See what I'm saying? And so you just have to be aware of where these things are. And it gives me a little bit of incentive to say, okay, Robin, when you wake up tomorrow morning, get off your butt and go walk, because, you don't want anything to throw a monkey wrench in the works. So again, probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but it gives me some fruit, some thought. So I'm back into this. I had a lovely afternoon on online dating, communicating via little message boxes with someone who was interested in me. And that's with me saying I wasn't interested in sex, and that I haven't had GCS, and that I was going to have GCS. And it was like, I really expected. I have had a couple of tranny chasers chase me. Didn't go very far because I'm not interested in that. And again, word talk is cheap. You don't know if someone is being genuinely with you. For all I know, it's a stalker or a psychopath killer or whatever, but you just don't know unless you get your name out there. And this person was, talking to me, and I was talking to them, and um, you just don't know what's going to happen, and we just don't know. So I might get to meet him in a little bit. I'm not ready yet. Obviously, I look like I've been attacked. I had my laser yesterday, and so I still haven't been able to shave. So here you can hear my little white doodaddies. So it's like, part of me was like, I want to get together and see this guy tonight. Not that I have the money to do it, to go have a cup of coffee, but a cup of coffee is pretty cheap. And anyway, if he's a guy, he really should pay for my cup of coffee. But again, it was like it was like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. And it kind of put me into I had always, there's a voice of caution that you need that says, okay, be very, very careful what you say and do. But there's also a little bit of what I'm going to call old hagism. And I don't think that's it. I'm going to say trans hag. Someone who says, oh, you have to be very careful of men because, men validate your decision to transition, and, they're just lying to get in your pants, which is very, very true. I'll never know unless I try, but, that doesn't dissuade me from, I guess, a little bit of happiness thinking that, hey, possibly this person could be interested in me, and even if it's a crock of shit, gives me some happiness today. Today has been kind of a sad day. My oldest cat passed away over the night, and so I had to kind of take care of her today, her body, and it was just an emotional day. And then I had the other cat, I had to check it out, and it just seemed like there was just so many negativity things. So it's nice to end the day on a positive note. I don't know it's going to go anywhere. Let's assume it does go nothing, but at least for the sake of discussion, it makes me feel really good. And then back to the first part about, crunching numbers and everything. It's not meant to really, to be honest, it really gives me peace of mind because it says it's possible. That's the hard thing about somewhat this whole process is when you look at it and you're like, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for this? And back to the idea of that, the crunching your numbers, that makes the assumption that my insurance company doesn't have some sort of negotiated in-network rate with this hospital. And I part of me is like, I doubt they do. So I'm planning for the worst, which would be the $25,000. Now that doesn't account, what is the hospital stay, those kind of things we don't know about. I guess I really didn't think about that. Surgery itself could be $25,000, but then you have the hospital visit, and the hospital could be pretty damn expensive, but I won't know that until isn't it wonderful, or isn't it a bitch that like you don't know any of this information for sure until you get to the physician consultation? And I went to mine in March, and that's when they told me I was too fat, but we didn't even discuss the financial aspects of it, and so yeah, part of me's got the old doubter inside saying, oh, you're going to get there and you're going to get upset and depressed because it's not something you can do. And I can only deal with it when it happens, Hopefully not. But we'll see. we'll see. You'll never know unless you try. And that's something that I've found throughout this whole process is, you can sit there and try, and even here you probably can make fun of me for all my number crunching, but it's hope. What is the cost of hope? And unfortunately, for a long time, I was a bit of someone who just got caught up in logic, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, and you almost have to just pick a direction and go in it. So, you can doubt the future all you want, but there's a chance that you'll have a heart attack or something, and it's going to fuck your plans up anyway, right? So, all right, that's it. Good luck, everybody, in your own pursuits. Until next time, bye.